Shalom, I'm making this video from Jerusalem. My name is Yoshua Yaakov ben Avraham, and the name of the video is The Women Shall Lead. And why is it that the women shall lead? Because they're on a higher spiritual plane. Okay, the meta-narrative of today is the collapse of the local reality globally, and the men are flaming about it, and they can't put their minds around it. It's too fantastic, it's exaggerated, it's too complex. Okay, so they're not able to absorb it. The women are, and the implications are the reason that the women can absorb it, because the women comprehend more intuitively. The implications and gravity are very, very significant. Okay, so what are those implications? It's obviously the end of man and mankind's exile, and for people who are not religious or secular or anthropologic humanists, the meaning is the end of modernity and the beginning of post-modernity. Now, having said that, the question is, what do we do? And we have to brand it, and we need the women to lead, because we've got to get everybody on the same page. And so the East-West reality collapses, communism, capitalism collapses, and everybody's in denial. That's where we are today. And we're going to fix the economy in America and in the G9. Hasn't it occurred to anybody that that if it were just the economy, there would be relatively obvious that there would be some disconnects between various parts of the world? There isn't. So it's all connected. It's all one reality. It's a fundamental transformation in man and mankind that is proceeding. Having said that, so the question is, what do? We got to brand it globally, and to brand it, we need the women clearly whose egos are not vested in being right, and I can do this and I can do that, I can fix the economy, etc. The economy in America, the G9 and the G20, has to be transformed, because we don't have the least cost method of macro production. Well, that happens to be not at all coincidental to the process of history, which is the collapse of the lower reality that now confirms the end of man and mankind's exile, and simultaneously the end of the era of modernity, which brings us to the ascent of man and mankind in post-modernity. Okay, so if there's going to be an ascent to post-modernity, there has to be a new central organizing principle, and there is. The old behavioral model of man in secular terms was giving to receive, I give, I get. And the new cognitive behavioral science first principle, which is the central organizing principle of the new East-West convergence model, Humanomics, is Gebel B'Shvil Ten in Hebrew, in English, receiving to give. And as the central organizing principle of the new cognitive behavioral science, that's the ticket of man's ascent. Well, for the religious, it's redemption. Okay, so we're not going to argue over who's right and who's wrong, or whose definition is better, because the fact of the matter is the highest attainment in the ascent of cognitive man in a secular construct would be anthropologic humanism and spiritual traditionalism for the religious. Well, those two models converge in Humanomics, and that's so the East-West models collapse and they converge, and the best of them converge to the middle. And what is the best? Anthropologic humanism for the secular, and spiritual traditionalism for the religious, regardless of whether Christian, Muslim, Jew, Maoist, atheist, whatever, agnostic. Okay, so that's where we're going. We're all heading there. We're all going there, and we got to get on the same page. So that's why the women have to lead. And so leading really means saying, this is right, this is clear, this is obvious, and it's to logic in many ways counterintuitive, but that is just more of the spin of man's exile. And I'll be specific. When we confront that which seems counterintuitive to our logic or to our rational way of thinking, we have to then realize that in exile, man operates within a platform, intellectually speaking anyway, of the paradox. And what is paradoxical? It sounds right, but it's wrong, sounds wrong, but it's right. We go back and forth in this cloud of the mind until we emerge, and there's a new platform, which is the dilemma of man's exile, which is right or wrong. Well, we don't know, not even Freud got it right with his id-ego, superego. His own miscalculation is that the natural duality, the free will, half of that natural duality of man created its own imitation of the comprehensive duality and dominated the entire psychology of man, which produced the exile of man in his mind. That was exile, that was modernity, that's collapsed, that's finished. And the God of the cosmos brought that condition. Well, okay, so now that we understand that, we have to move from the dilemma of believing that we actually are, we're actually allowed and actually making a choice between the good inclination and the evil inclination in man, when they're both the same. They're both the free will of the evil inclination that has replicated the inherent natural duality in man's mind and dominated it, and that's collapsed. Okay, so there's no choice, there's no dilemma, and that's the man delusion that Hawkins and Hitchens, sorry, I didn't say Hawkins, Hitchens and Dawkins and many others have been including Freud, have been trapped by. So the fact of the matter is we're moving on and beyond the paradoxical platform and the dilemma platform of man and mankind's modernity and exile to the dichotomy platform, which separates between the collapsed liberty, which is ground zero, this particular every human being. It's particular to every family, every community, every nation. That's why nations are collapsing. Industries are collapsing, businesses, potentates, kings, rulers. This is, folks, the world has changed. It's never going back to I give, I get. That's the model of exile, which is giving to receive. Okay, so therefore the women have to lead and say, calm down, children, come down from the roof before you hurt yourself. The world is not going to come to an end. We are going to learn, and we will do. And this is why Moshe Rabbeinu went to the house of Beit Yaakov, to the women, because the men wouldn't listen. Okay, so come on, gals, we need you. We need your leadership. We need you to reassure your husbands and your sons the world is not coming to an end. We're undergoing a fundamental transformation from behavioral mammal to cognitive being. This is the ascent of man. This is the Gebel Bishop Receive to Give is the new central organizing principle of the Jewish people, Klal Yisrael, and of all mankind. And we're going to inhabit it, and so we have nothing to be afraid of, and we have to move forward. So branding this solution is branding Humanomics. And we're going to do it on the web. We're going to do it with an Amutah, which is a 501c3 nonprofit trust in America, authorized by the New York State and the IRS. And MacroTech, which has the ownership, the intellectual property, the patent rights, the new economic paradigm, and other things that are quite valuable, we put into the trust, and the people and the Klal Yisrael and the publics of the G20 will donate monies to develop this science and technology. And the corporation that has the exclusive rights and will seek a charter from the U.S. Congress and the IRS and the Treasury to operate as a government services enterprise to underwrite the bonds to develop the global technological infrastructure will be guaranteed by the government. And the patents for doing that is owned by the trust. Okay, so this is the structure we've created. Come on, women. We got to lead, as today, what is happening, the grammar, the narrative of today is the sated our soul to feed the hungry. Shemaim is fed up with billions of people. He's not going to tolerate man's exile any longer. Billions of people starving while, a few percent of the population of mankind is fat and sated. Thank you for listening. I'm Yeshua Yaakov from Jerusalem. And come on, ladies, let's lead the way. And thank you for listening.